Hi everybody, it's Mr. Krebs here. Today we are going to be talking about powers. That's kind of what we're focusing on. So really what you need to know about powers is there's really two things. Number one, you need to know the parts of a power, what the different parts are, and then you also need to know what powers mean. So first let's talk about the parts. So powers have basically two parts. First, I kind of want you to understand this whole thing here. When we see 2 to the third power, that's called a power. Okay? And the power has two big parts. There's this guy right here, the larger number, and that is our base. And you have this smaller number off to the side. That is the exponent. So that's the first thing you need to understand about powers, is that there's two parts. There's a base, which is this larger number, and then the exponent, which is the smaller number sort of raised off to the side. Now those two numbers tell us something about how the power works. Now powers really mean in math, when we raise something to a certain power, what we are doing is we're repeatedly multiplying. Okay, so if I was making a note on this, I would say powers mean repeated multiplying. I had some trouble with my pen there. There we go. Okay, so powers mean repeated multiplying. So in the case of something like 2 to the third power, what I'm really saying is I'm saying 2 times 2 times 2. And I get the number 2. The number 2 is my base. I just take my base number, and that's what I'm multiplying. That's the number I'm multiplying. How many times do I multiply it? Well, that is what I get from the exponent. The exponent tells me how many times. So I'm multiplying 2, 1, 2, 3 times, because my exponent is 3. So let's work over an example really quickly here. Okay, so let me just kind of get rid of everything here. Actually, there we go. Okay. So let's look at another example. So let's say we have a base number of 4, and we're taking 4 to the 5th power. Okay, 4 to the 5th power. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller just so I can kind of work with it off to the side here. So 4 to the 5th power is another way of saying 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have my 4 times facts memorized, at least not repeatedly multiplying 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. So this isn't anything I'm expecting you to be able to do in your head. There's a couple different ways we can do it. So if I just pull up the calculator on my computer here, you can see it's just a basic calculator. I can do 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, and what I get is 1024. Okay. In other calculators, if you have a scientific calculator, and then they look many different ways and they kind of work in many different ways, but they'll have a button that either looks like this guy right here, or you'll have a button that looks like a little arrow pointing up. That's called a caret, C-A-R-E-T, caret. And what that's telling you is that you're writing an exponent after that. So the way I would use that button in a calculator, so I was doing 4 to the 5th power, I would hit 4, which is my base number. I would hit that exponent button, or the caret button, and then I'd type in my exponent, which in this case is 5. So when I hit equals, it's going to tell me what 4 to the 5th power is. And you see it gives me the same answer of 1024. So 4 to the 5th power is just another way of saying 1024. And as you can see with exponents, we get really big numbers really quickly. And that's another important feature about exponents, is that we're using them to make really big numbers, but we're writing them in a much smaller format. So instead of having 1024, which might be a lot of digits depending on what I'm trying to write, I can just write 4 to the 5th power. We use this in a lot of different things. You will see it coming up in scientific notation, which is a way that we write really, really, really large numbers in a really, really much smaller way so we can work with them. If you have any questions, you can email me or let your teacher know in your classroom. I will, of course, answer any questions you have when I see you in person. For right now, though, go ahead and give that lesson checkpoint a try. Thanks, everybody. Bye.